Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just want to start by saying a huge thank you for the overwhelming love and support for the Taylor Convertible Duffle bag, also known as the garment bag. This design has been 2 years in the making, and reaching this milestone with all of you means the world to me. Today's tutorial will walk you through the bound version, which includes the shoe compartment and is rated intermediate to advanced in skill level. Let's take a closer look at the features of this bag. Front zipper pocket for easy access to essentials. Back slip pocket that doubles up as a luggage sleeve. 2 D-rings for detachable strap. And yes, the sophisticated sling strap works perfectly here. One exterior side gusset zipper reveals 2 mesh pockets. A dedicated shoe compartment, which also works great for dirty laundry or post-gym gear. On the inside, you will find a side mesh pocket, an interior zipper pocket, and a lined suit compartment with space for your hanger. And one of my favorite features is you can zip the entire bag flat, making it super easy to store when you're not in use, or you just want to have the extra assurance that you have a bag when you travel back from your holiday with all the souvenirs. Here are the overview of what I will be using on this tutorial. I'm using the supplies from my own shop, Sewfisticated Supplies, and yes, we ship internationally. If you're following along with the pattern, you will find a helpful overview of the exterior and the interior pieces on pages 4 and 5 of the pattern instruction. This gives you a great visual reference before you begin cutting. For printing, flip to page 27, which includes a full guide on how to print your pattern correctly. And if you are more on a visual learner, I also created a walkthrough showing how to print and prepare your pattern pieces as well as your stabilizer. So you are set up for success from the start. And let's get started. For this pattern, you will need this separating zipper, which is similar to the jacket zipper. You will need to have at least 20 inch, but I would advise you to get a longer piece. Reason being, we can always reuse the excess zipper. Okay, but now we're going to cut 20 inch. So I'm going to separate this first and change to my zipper. Okay, and when we insert the new zipper pull, we will insert through the cap. For this pattern instruction, I'm recommending to have a hole, hook and hole. Okay, I do not have a bigger hook at the moment, so but this will make do. It works as a simple anti-theft lock. So for now, I'm going to take this out. Okay, and for usual zipper, we always will insert through the curved corner inwards here. Okay, but for this, we are not going to do that. It's going to be the opposite way. Okay, and we will just slide all the way to the back. And we will insert here. Always double check. And there you go. You will have your separating zipper. So we are going to put this aside first. And the remaining piece, I'm going to reuse it. You can refer to your pattern instruction for ZB zipper, which is a front pocket. Okay, I'm going to cut this and insert the zipper pull. Prepare this before we start sewing. Take your PC and you measure the midpoint 2 1/8 inch from the top curved edge, and you will use your decoville light below the marking. For me, I'm using this Sewfisticated stabilizer. This is very stiff, so I'm going to just press adhere it. This is just for the D-ring, because we'll be sewing the D-ring here and we want to reinforce the area. I already did for here also. And this one we are done. Next, we'll prepare for the A2 stabilizer to A1. Take out your piece A1, which is the base, and A2 stabilizer, and 5 purse feet. If you are using a fusible stabilizer such as Decoville Light or Heavy, fuse to the fabric first, and do allow some time for the glue to cure. I'm using the self-adhesive Sewfisticated foam. This is from my shop. So right now I'm going to adhere the stabilizer. I'm just going to put this stabilizer, adhere it over to the A1 base. You can mark the center point or just use, I'm just going to eyeball it. Once you are satisfied, make sure you press it on the right side. If you are using sewing foam such as Pioneer Soft and Stable, cut to match the base and baste it in place. Reason being, we don't have another fabric to hold it in place. So you definitely either you have to baste it or use the adhesive spray. Make sure it adhere it to the fabric. So once you're, I'm going to just give another press. Okay. And we will need to install the purse feet. The measurement is also on page 6. We'll mark the midpoint along the long edge and the short edge over here. And over here on the short edge, measure 3 1/8 inch and inwards 4 inch. So basically from the center point, 3 1/8 inch and 4 inches in. So we are going to install the purse feet. I'm just going to use my awl, and with this base, I'm just going to make the hole in. I find this more accurate than using my hole puncher. Okay. We are going to use, because I'm using this Chicago screw type, I find it easier because so that my table press won't be able to fit in, and I don't want to squish it. So this would be the more ideal. Okay, I run out of the glue, super glue, so I'm just going to use this permanent fabric adhesive. It works on my other mix also. So I'm just going to put a little bit inside and screw it tight. Okay. Take the screwdriver and make sure that you tighten it. Repeat the same for the other 4. Use the painter's tape to paste over the screw because you don't want it to accidentally stretch your lining fabric. And we are now done with your stabilizer. We put this aside first. Take out your front panel zipper pocket. Exterior, this is piece B. Already mark the placement. There is no specific placement you can put. Just make sure you leave 2 inches from the short edges so that we can put the webbing later. So use your seam ripper to cut 2 small slits wide enough for the prongs to go in. If your fabric tends to fray, apply fray stop around the slit. Right now I'm going to insert the prongs through the hole. Place a washer over the prongs. It is always encouraged to put a stabilizer over, and make sure your logo is in the right orientation. Apply the masking tape over. This is just to prevent any accidental stretch towards the lining. Now we are ready to sew the front pocket. Put this aside first while we do the zipper tab. We're on step number 2. You will have 2 ZB zipper plus 1 pull, and this is a zipper tab ZTB. So we'll cut the ZTB zipper tab in half and make sure your zipper pull is already in. You place the zipper tab right side together with the zipper tip on the closed end. You will want to see your zipper pull is opening from here to here. We'll go to the sewing machine and sew with a 3/8 inch. Then we will fold the tab to cover the raw edges. Another fold over the stitches, and we will top stitch with a 1/8 inch. We'll repeat the same for the other zipper tab. Ensure that the zipper close is on this side, together right side together with. Ensure that your zipper tab is right side together with the zipper at the zipper close. Mark 8.5 inch from the zipper tab end, and from here we will fold it 90 degrees down to form a L shape. I already marked here 8.5 inch, so I will press on the marking. Use a clip to secure. You can actually use a lighter to actually cinch the ends, or we will go to the sewing machine and sew the side here. The total length should be 8.5/8 inch from the tip of the zipper tip to the zipper tab. So now we are going to baste it a few stitches just to make sure that it holds the L shape. Check that you are happy with it. We'll repeat the same for this before we go to the next step. We'll take one ZB zipper aside first. Take out your piece B front panel zipper pocket. Find center point of the ZB zipper, and we'll align the center point right side together. It depends whether if you are a right handle or a left handle. For me, I'm a right handle, so I like to actually unzip my zipper from left to right. So I'm going to place my zipper close on the left side. So center point to center point. We are going to baste with a 1/8 inch. Take out your piece B2, again mark the center point, and we place it right side together. The zipper tape will be sandwiched in between. And we will sew with a 1/4 inch. We will snip the SA corners and along with the zipper, SS zipper. Just flatten the fabric. And we are going to align the fabric wrong side together. Okay, now we are going to top stitch the parameter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, sometimes this happens because of the stretch of the fabric. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it around and baste it from the lining side. Because my lining is much thinner than the exterior, so you tend to stretch. Well, different sewing machine have different reaction, so this is what my sewing machine do. Okay, this is what you have. Even there is a slide off, it's alright because it will be covered later. We'll put this aside first while we'll do the back panel slip pocket. We will repeat the same as what we did for the front panel zipper pocket, except that the zipper will be at the bottom. Now we'll put the lining aside. Align this right side together. If your fabric has a print orientation, make sure that it's pointing up and your zipper is facing down. So we are placing right side together and we'll baste it with a 1/8 inch. And for this, I forgot to mention, because the zipper pull will be dangling down. So you don't really want to have those very long pull. When you finish, it will be dangling down. So I choose those normal rectangular zipper. Next, we will take remaining piece 2, place it right side together with the piece 1 and the zipper sandwich in between. So now we are going to sew the 2 long edges with a 1/4 inch. Snip off the SA corner and also the SS zipper. Turn the fabric right side out. Remember, the zipper is facing downwards, so just double check your orientation is facing up if you have a print placement. So we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. Now our back panel slip pocket luggage sleeve is now done. You put these 2 aside first. Now you will take out the ZA zipper plus a pull, and we will mark from one end to the other end is 19 inch. You will need to separate the zipper first. And let me repeat on this, which I shown it earlier. On the usual zipper, we will always put the zipper teeth from the zipper end, whereby there's a curve here. However, for this, we are going to go to the back. So we will slide it in from the back using this with a cap. Okay, from here you just slide it in. Just gently maneuver it. You can double check again by making sure that it fits well. So from here, you will just pull the zipper end and just slide. And we are going to fold the zipper tape 90 degrees on both sides, like what we did earlier for the front and back panel pockets. Okay, this side as well. If you know how to use the lighter to actually create the end, you can go ahead. I'm very bad with fire, to be honest, so I rather baste it. So before we baste it, we just have to make sure that this one measures 19 and 1/8 inch. The measurement is also given on step 7. Okay, check that you are happy with it. And from now, we are going to trim off the excess and use a lighter to seal the end. Okay, take out your two main bodies, which is your front and back panel, and your separating zipper. There are two methods. One is for you to separate the zipper, and we will sew from a 3/8 inch at the corner. Feedback from the tester, they prefer to sew as what it is on the zipper so that we ensure that it actually catch the same alignment. So we are going to do that today. I already marked a 3/8 inch along the long edges. So I'm going to put one aside first. If your fabric has a print orientation, make sure that this is facing up. Okay, this is facing up. And we place the zipper right side together from the 3/8 inch mark. This is facing up, the top side facing up, and your zipper right side together. Again, mark a 3/8 inch and we will align it together. Okay, and we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. For this, I'm going to baste it here because I want the stud to be exactly the same. Before we separate the panel, determine which one is the front and the back panel. Since both have the same print and I am a right hander, so I'm going to put this as the front. Why? Because I'm opening the zip from left to right. Though ultimately, the difference is very minimal if you are going to open up the whole back. So I'm going to separate the piece. And I'm going to put the back panel aside first. Okay, we are on step number 9. This is a front panel, and you will need to take out your front panel zipper pocket. Measure from the top center of the front panel down 5.5 inch over here. You will need to mark the center point and preferably you draw a line. Why? Is because we need to align our zipper pocket, the zipper tape along the line. Let me repeat, 5.5 inch down from the top center point, and do draw a line. Use your fabric marker And for here, just now we already marked the center point for the front zipper pocket. We are going to place our zipper pocket at the top, okay? So that once it's finished, it's going to come down. Okay, and for here, I'm going to use the interstick to secure it so that it doesn't shift when I do the sewing. And we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch and thereafter another 1/4 inch so that we have a double stitches. There is no lining here. Basically, the front panel is the lining. Remember to backstitch at the start and the end. Okay, I forgot to do something earlier. I forgot to snip it off. So what we can do it now also. Okay, and we will sew another stitch, either a 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch. For me right now, 1/8 inch will be easier to see because I will just base on my first top stitch. Okay, and from here we are going to flatten it and match the center point of the front pocket to the front panel. This is how it will look. Your zipper tab here should rest very nicely. And before we actually baste it, make sure that both sides here has equal measurement. Perfect. So I'm going to baste the two sides and the bottom edge. For me, I like to baste the bottom first so that it is aligned. So from here, I'm going to turn it and I'm going to just baste it. Okay, your front panel now is done. We put this aside while we do the back panel. Okay, for this, there is a slight difference because our zipper is going to face down because this is not a zipper pocket, it's a slip pocket come luggage sleeve. The only difference is we are going to measure from the bottom, long edge, 1 5/8 inch. Make sure you mark the center point and take your slip pocket. Remember the zipper is at the bottom. For now, we are going to place the zipper downwards. Okay, so when it's done, you're going to flip it up. So this one, it can be a slip pocket or a luggage sleeve. So likewise, I already aligned the center point of the zipper pocket and the front panel. Take your pinter stick to secure, to make sure that it's aligned. And we are going to sew 2 stitches, 1/8 inch followed by a 1/4 inch. But this side, it might be a little bit tricky, so it's good that you can unzip it. Make sure you align the center point first. Then from here, we will align the zipper. So be sure to draw a horizontal line. Again, I forgot to snip off the zipper tape. Okay, we will sew another stitches. Trim off all the threads. I don't know why this thread is here. Okay, once we are done, fold it up. Make sure your zipper tab is upright, okay, like this, and it's not flattened or squashed down. And at the same time, we will have to measure that these two sides are equal. Okay, take your time to do it. Once you are happy that both alignments are the same, you're going to baste the two short edges only with a 1/8 inch. We'll leave the top open because this will act as a slip pocket. So for this, you will act as a slip pocket or a luggage sleeve. And now we are going to attach the straps. Okay, right now we are on step 11 and we are going to attach the strap. For this webbing we use for the strap is 41 inch long, which has about slightly over 7-inch drop from the top to the zipper tape. So if you want longer, you can by all means increase the length. For this duffel bag, we have two side D-ring where you can attach the adjustable strap. Sewfisticated sling pad is perfect for it because it's padded. Okay, make sure you paste the double-sided tape on the same side. You don't want to have a twisted webbing. I cut about 5 inch and we are going to attach it in the midpoint to midpoint. At the same time, ensure both sides are aligned. Okay, so I'm going to do just press it down and make sure here is not twisted. Okay, take your ruler and make sure both sides from the webbing has the same measurement. Once you make sure that both sides are aligned, you will need to measure 4 inch down from the top edge and another 2 inch down from the 4 inch. We will start top stitching from the edge of the webbing here all the way to the 4 inch mark, and we will sew down to the 2 inch mark and sew a X box and down again. And I also like to reinforce the seam by sewing a few reverse stitches at the point. Make sure your bobbin has enough thread. Do stand by your hump jumper because for here on uneven layers we will need to use it. Okay, I managed to squeeze through, but over here I would like to do a few reverse stitches, then stop at the 4 inch mark. And remember to stop at the 2 inch mark. A ruler will be useful for you to make sure that you stop right, and also for your Xbox later. Okay, that's what I always like to do to make sure that I get the right Xbox. Okay, this is how it is. And next we are going to do this side exactly the same. Again, reverse stitch on where the webbing and the pocket seam join. A little bit off here, but it's fine. Yep, and your front panel is now done. Double check your zipper. Gorgeous. Okay, we'll repeat the same for your back panel. I already put the double-sided tape, and I'm going to just repeat the whole process. Again, double check your bobbin. If you didn't change earlier, make sure you do check now first. For this, you will have a double reverse point because there's a zipper at the bottom and a slip pocket at the top. Same thing, we measure from the top also, 4 inches, and the X box is slightly higher towards the slip pocket. That is normal. Forgot to mention, if you want to put a label tag at the outside, you can always do so in between the webbing. Okay. Looking good. So this is your back panel, and we will unzip it to become a luggage slip. Okay, now you already done your front and your back panel. Don't put it away first. We are going to assemble together with the base. Okay, and we are going to line up together, right side together. It doesn't matter front or the back panel. Both is the same because we are going to sew it eventually. You clip the center point together. It's going to be a long piece, so please clear your sewing table. Once we have aligned right side together, we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Good thing about using this foam, I can leave it up a little out of the way. Otherwise, the uneven layers will be hard to sew. Go slow. Reverse stitch at the webbing area, and right now we do have the zipper pull. No, it's not a zipper pull, it's a zipper tape. So these sides we need to squish a little bit. Okay, before we snip the corners, let's take a look on the right side. The back panel will be tougher because of the back slip pocket, but it's still achievable. Okay, check that you are happy with it, and we are going to top stitch it. So we're going to top stitch with the seam allowance pressing down towards the base. Okay, once you check that the back panel, there is no issue, we are going to snip off the SA corners just to reduce the layers on the final assembly, and we are going to press it down. Okay, this is where the back is getting bigger and bigger, so make sure you clear your sewing area, especially your front. If you do not have any extended table, as in long, big sewing table, maybe get a portable table or a high chair so that it can help to support the back while you sew. It helps a lot on that. So right now I'm going to sew on this side, flatten the seam allowance towards the base. I'm literally hugging the fabric now, so it is normal. Make sure your seam allowance is facing towards the base, and we are going to top stitch 2 rows, 1/8 inch followed by a 1/4 inch. Use a fingertip to make sure that there's no layers here, meaning the seam allowance is actually towards the base. Okay, make sure the back, yep, capture nicely. So we are going to sew another top stitch. You can skip it, but I thought it looked nicer with double stitches. Okay, we are going to repeat the same on the other side, but as you can see, the back is getting bigger and bigger. Same thing, right side together. And I'm going to sew with a 3/8 inch. So again, snip your SA corners and turn the fabric out. Oh, it's looking so good. Okay, and we are going to clear the sewing table and top stitch the base. 2 rows, repeat the same. Okay, I need to turn out this one again. I seriously need to get a slim footer. We got the compensating. Okay. Yeah, we are done for the front panel. Okay, and make sure the whole measurement is right as per point number 14. Okay, because ultimately this length should be the same as piece E, the main lining, and the measurement is stated on step 14. So right now we'll put this aside while we'll do the side gusset. Right now we are on step 18, side gusset mesh pocket. You should have 2 pieces of PC3 and D3. Take out your bias tape, and if you do have the label tag, take it out at the same time. I'm going to put 1 each. Be sure to cut your mesh fabric stretch horizontally and not vertical. Vertical should be very minimum. Horizontal is the stretch. If you are not comfortable with sewing bias tape, take the DST and you actually align on the top, 1 long edge, both sides, so that you can actually cover it nicely. But for this case, I'm not going to. It is pretty easy and a good practice without using the bias tape. Let me walk through with you. Okay, I'm not going to cut the bias tape because to cut short your sewing time, you can actually sew all the 4 at one go. First, you got to make sure you got enough thread for your bobbin thread for all the 4. I might be running out. Okay, for the mesh fabric, there is always a smooth side and the rough side. Not really that important. You will only realize it when you feel it. So if you're particular with the touch, so you might want to note it. What you do is on your bias tape, if you do not have a mid-fold, mid-line like mine, what I'll do is I'll just pinch it and I will sew a few stitches first with a 1/4 inch just to tack it and make sure that it stays put. And I'm going to put my mesh fabric against the midpoint of the bias tape, and I'm just going to sew like this. You can go slow, save on your double-sided tape actually. Make sure you back stitch as you go. fold it and use our fingertip just to press the line down and to make sure that it actually covers both sides. And I'm going to put my label tag. There's no hard and fast rule. I like to put probably about 2 inches away from the short edge. And when you reach the end, make sure you back stitch. And we will continue the other 3. Okay, we are done with 2C3 and 2D3. We'll put this D3 aside first and take out 2 pieces of your C1 lining, and we will place this aligned to the straight edge, and we'll base the 2 short edge and the long edge. Okay, whenever I sew mesh, I prefer to face down so that it doesn't shift as I sew along. Repeat the same for the other mesh fabric and C1, and this C1 with mesh fabric is now done. We put it aside first. We'll do the same for D3 and D3 mesh fabric and piece D2 lining. For this, because it's longer, so I will add a divider pocket for this piece, beginning from the bottom edge, and I'm going to top stitch up to the bias tape with a 1/8 inch and come down again with a gap of 1/8 inch so that I can create 2 pockets. And from here, I'm just going to sew a line. There's no hard and fast rule. You can take the midpoint. You can take 1/3 of it. And we will do the same for the other lining and mesh fabric. Okay, now all your mesh pockets are done. 2C1 and 2D2. We'll put all this aside first while we'll do the next step, which is the zipper tab. Okay, right now we are on step 20, doing ZC zipper. You should have 2 zipper, 1 exterior and 1 lining, ZTC and ZTC1. So we are going to cut into 4 pieces equally. Okay, we'll put 1 aside first. Basically, we need 2 exterior and 2 lining and 1 zipper. We'll ensure that your zipper is measured as what is indicated in the pattern instruction. Take the zipper tab, exterior, place it right side together with the zipper teeth. And your lining, right side together on the wrong side of the zipper tape. And we're going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Once done, we're going to turn it over with the fabric right side out, and we are going to top stitch the parameter. It'll be easier for you to continue like this. And I like to snip the side, the SA corners for the exterior. You can do so for the lining, but it's not really thick, so I just leave it as it is. Okay, we turn it right side out, and we're going to top stitch the parameter. And from here, we are going to mark the center point. We'll repeat the same for the remaining ZC zipper. The ZC zipper is now done. We'll put them aside first while we do the ZD zipper. There's a lot of zipper, but if you notice, I do name the label the zipper with a Z in front and the alphabet for the piece at the back. So this is ZD zipper relation to piece D. Okay, we'll put similar to ZC, you should have 2 sets each. Same as earlier, we will cut this equally into, no, for this we do not need to cut, okay, because we are going to join as a zipper gusset. Ensure that the ZD zipper measurement is the same as what in the pattern instruction, likewise for the zipper tab. Take your ZD1 lining, right side down, zipper tape, wrong side up. And we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. We'll do that on the other side. Okay, we'll take the exterior, place it right side together with the zipper teeth. And same thing, we are going to do that to this side. You can do 1 at a time or 2 at a time. It doesn't matter as long as the exterior is not twisted. Before we sew, we can always double check. From here, it is correct. So we'll go ahead and sew with a 3/8 inch. And remember to trim the exterior, snip the corner to reduce the layers. Okay, now we are going to top stitch the parameter with a 1/8 inch. Then go ahead and mark the center point. The center point is important. because later we will snip into the zipper tape. So make sure you get the right center point. And use a pen or something that you will not be able to easily erase off, because sometimes you use a chalk, the ink will be gone by the time that you need to know the placement. And you are done with one ZD zipper gusset. So we will proceed to do the others. And just now I forgot to highlight, you must make sure that you have two zipper hole. Okay, and I use the hook and the hole pull, so that it's a simple anti-tab. So I will go ahead and do the remaining zipper. We are on step 22, doing the side gusset zipper pocket. Before that, we are going to sew our webbing and our D-ring in. Put this aside first, the two pieces. So for your D-ring, mark a 2-inch down. Do not put any double-sided tape so that it's easier for you to sew around later, because some machines are sensitive to the double-sided tape. So we are going to insert our D-ring. Remove your double-sided tape and press it down, okay? And we'll take the piece C. You should already mark the center point, and we are going to place it the midpoint of your webbing to the center point of the piece C. Just ensure that both are measured the same. Do the same for the other piece C and webbing. Now we are going to the sewing machine. I'm going to top stitch along the webbing, up, across, and down just below the fold, and do a X box like what we did earlier on the front and back panel, and back down again. You'll do for both sides. And I'm going to change out my slim footer. You might want to stand by also a scrap of fabric. I'm using the webbing now to protect your hardware when we sew close to the hardware, when we top stitch it. Okay. I didn't do it very nice there, but it's okay. Later I will do another stitch over at the top, so I can feel the webbing on the other side. So I'm going to just sew it over slightly, about 1/4 inch down. And do another X box. Okay, I'm going to use this. Sorry, that was my girl. Oh no, I got distracted here. There's no way for me to make it nice, so I'm going to take it out, thread it behind, because my stitches is very obvious. So okay, then I'm going to continue the thread down. Okay, and over here, same thing. You may want to. I think it's not so bad. So I'm going to use a ruler just to make sure that I get the right one. Okay, and we are going to stitch all the way down. Okay, so double check. I think it looks okay. So I'm going to take this one in. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to put this aside and do the remaining PC and the webbing. Now we are done with side gusset zipper pocket with the webbing. And we will put this aside, take out the lining. Right now we are on step 23. Again, find the center point and make sure that it match. I didn't make the center point for this. The side gusset is probably the most challenging for this pattern. So it is okay to take it slow. So we are going to line both of them right side up. So I have to make sure that I have the midpoint here. Okay, my midpoint to the center point of PC1 with the mesh pocket. For this side pocket, we are doing the birthing. So we will top stitch. You should have very minimum excess of zipper tab, or probably, yeah, very minimum, or probably none. I might have cut my zipper tip a little bit longer, but it's okay. There's a room for error for this PC. Again, do not snip into the zipper. it fits perfectly. You need not seam into the corners at all. So use a clip to secure the excess zipper so that it doesn't get into the way. And we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. And I always like to use my thermostat to press down the zipper or hold the fabric together. Okay, and we are going to take out our PC with the webbing that we did earlier. And we're going to place it right side together. Again, match the center point. Ensure that this one is right side together. And we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch. Just ensure the zipper pull is out of the way. For some cases, you might need to remove your clip. Okay, then we'll just align again back. Go slow. Use your hand, fingertip to feel if there's any harm. If not, then it should be all right. But the surface here should be flat. Okay, it should be okay. But we just turn it out first because we still need to trim the exterior using pinking shear, or you can make notches. But we just turn it out to ensure everything looks well before we top stitch. See, the mesh pocket is not big, but if you want, you can still create a divider pocket. But for me, I find it's a bit too small to do so. It really depends on what you intend to put it in. Yeah, it looks good. That is perfect. Okay, I'm going to turn it around. Use a pinky shear to trim the exterior only, So when we do the top stitching, it will be easier. Again, just only the exterior. If you do not have, you can just use scissors to cut notches. It will be easier when you do the top stitch. And we will turn it around. And we will top stitch the curved area and base the bottom with a 1/8 inch. Okay, let's take a look. And we are done with the one piece, and we are going to continue to do the other piece. And now we are done with two pieces of the side gusset, zipper pocket. We are going to step 24, so we'll put these two away first. Right now, this should be step 24 for the cover clip. This is optional, so if you do not you wish to make the cover clip, you can skip to step 26. But for now, we are going to take this piece DD cover clip and we're going to fold right side together along the long edges. We're going to sew the perimeter with a 1/4 inch, but do leave a gap about 2.5 inches on either one side of the long edge with the L stitches. It'll just make the birthing, because after you birth, you need to actually tuck in your raw edges. The L stitch will help you to fold it nicely. So now we are going to sew it first. Charlotte, okay. Are you going out? Okay, go then. Bye. That was my daughter who came and say hi. Okay, then another L stitch here. And we are going to snip off the corners here. Be careful not to trim off any stitches. And use a turning tool. For me, I'm using a chopstick because I do not have a proper turning tool, but it does the work, so it's fine. So we are going to turn it around. It is rather a small gap for you to birth, so if you can use a lighter weight vinyl. I'm actually using quite a considered decent weight. This is 0.8 millimeters. See, like I mentioned, it naturally has this L fold in for you, so and it will look prettier. Okay, and you decide which side that you are going to have a cam snap, because you are going to have a cam snap, and leave the opposite short edge not top stitch. So we are going to top stitch 3 side only, the 2 long edges and 1 short edges where the cam snap would be. Okay. Repeat the same for the remaining cover clip. Okay, we are done now. And we are going to mark a 3/8 inch, okay, at the top stitch edge, the 2 corners. This is for your snap button. You can use your either cam snap or metal snap. Get a hole puncher and make sure you punch at the hole itself. Use the smallest hole, the diameter, which is 2 cm. No, sorry, 0.2 millimeters. Can be 2 cm. Okay, and I'm going to, mine is a cam snap, so I like to put the male cap, the male over here, okay, and The female part will be later when the bag is completed. So I'm going to over to my table press and press it. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, we are done with the clip. You take one piece D, mark 1 1/4 inch down from the center point, and this is where we are going to place the non-stitch short edge at the placement marking. Okay, before that we need to mark this also so that you are aligning the center point correctly. Okay, and we are going to sew 2 rows of stitches, 1 8-inch apart. Okay, I'm happy with this, so we proceed to the other piece D and the cover clip. Okay, we have done the 2 sets. Now you take your lining D1 and we're going to place it wrong side together. Because this part will be binding, so you will need to do the wrong side together. This part onwards, I believe for the exterior is all about binding. Then later part we'll do the interior, which is most all berthing, the pockets, but the final assembly will be binding. There's another version which is a berthing version. That one is probably more for definitely is all berthing. There is no binding except for mesh pocket. So if you are new and you want to sew this garment bag, you can try using that. Okay, now we are going to baste it. Okay, remember the cover flap. If you are using cover clip, if you are making it, make sure you tuck under and you don't baste it together. We are done on one piece and we are going to repeat the same for the remaining piece D and D1. You're done with your side gusset top exterior. We'll put one piece aside first and we'll take out the zipper pocket that we did earlier for the side gusset. There are 2 parts. One is just a zipper pocket and the other side will be shoe compartment. We'll be doing the zipper pocket for now. Okay, you find the center point. So what I do is I like to fold the end first, match the end, then followed by the center point. All right side together. like this. I have to trim out the excess. If you have excess, make sure you trim it away also so that it's not confusing. This side is all right. And the center point. The side gusset is the most complicated part. Probably the most advanced techniques are around the side gusset. But once you finish it, you really feel so good that, wow, I made this. This is definitely special for me personally, because this took 2 years thereabout. I can't remember how many people have tagged me. And I love to do that then, but I just didn't have the mental capacity to draft something so complex in a way that a lot of math need to be done, even though math is my strong suit, but I just couldn't, yeah, think so much then. Okay, it should fit perfectly like what it is now. So we are going to baste it first with a 1/8 inch. Again, I'm going to change out my zipper. Put if any one of you are really feeling down or anything, really get some help. I was really lucky in a way, yes and no, because I didn't realize that I was suffering from depression actually. Until really much later, I read more about it. Then the symptoms are there. It's just that, survival instinct make me ignore it. Okay, let's sew. Base with a 1/8 inch. Now it's getting to more and more. Yep, I'm going to unstitch here, this part. Just later we are going to sew the 1/4 inch. Let's see this part. Oh, looks so good. We are almost done with one side. Okay, now we are going to do the binding. Okay, so I'm going to sew this. We no need to do a fold because later we will be hiding the raw edges. So we will do with a 1/4 inch. If your bias tape happen to be the wider, like 1 inch, Just take note that you do not want your bias tip to be too much over here at the zipper teeth because you will get caught while unzipping. Okay, so we just try to straighten the zipper as straight as possible so that you can sew on it. We are done. Okay, again, flex your binding, your bias. So yes, your binding here, your seam, so that the curve can sit in nicer. It will be better as the time passes. Okay, this is how it looks at the back and the front. Pin zip. Right now we are on step 28. Take the two side gusset lining with the mesh pocket that we did earlier. So we are going to place them wrong side together first. And thereafter, we are going to line this on top of the mesh fabric. Sorry, the side gusset lining. Basically is right side up, and wrong side up. So when you unzip it, you will see the mesh pocket, and the inside interior, you will see this mesh pocket also. So we are going to align it all together. It'll be easier for you to align two at one time. And we are going to, sorry, I keep bumping into the camera. And next we are going to take this exterior center point and one way is to tuck in your disc cover clip inside the zipper pocket so it's out of the way. You have to do some adjustment here because here will tend to have excess, but we just need to flatten out the side here. You just double check at the back also. Okay, and right now we are going to base the exterior with a 1/8 inch. I like to base this with the bias stick facing up, basically the lining facing up. Okay, and we just open it up. Trim away any excess. But for now, here is the bias tape. And we are done with the first side gusset pocket. The last step for this side gusset will be the ZD zipper. Take out your zipper gusset and we are going to line right side together around the perimeter. Prior to that, make sure your center point is still visible because later part we will need to cut into the zipper tape. Again, tuck in your cover clip inside. And we are going to use right side together. Again, the measurement is it's supposed to fit like a glove, but if any reason that you need to trim, just make sure you trim not more than 1/8 inch into the zipper tape and use a zipper to cinch it so that it doesn't fray. So far I have tested. There is no feedback that it doesn't fit, so it shouldn't be an issue unless you cut it wrongly. So I always double check on your zipper measurement and the zipper tab measurement before we sew it together. Okay, looks good. And we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. Always have this on your sewing table because this really helps to maneuver the fabric, especially the layers, in tight corners. Okay, and let's zip it up. Look. Basting stitch will be gone after we baste it, so-called bind it. Look how good it looks. Okay, so when you unzip it, this one I forgot to show. So this is a pocket, and this one you can put your passport or certain item, because here there is still a gap here. And this is at the back. Yeah, so right now we are going to bind it. It took me a while to get this correct because my original prototype is much uglier than this. I remember, did I redo the whole thing? I will show it to the group. Okay, so now take out your buyer's chain. Then we are going to bind it by what we did earlier. Then we'll be done with one side gusset pocket. There's no hard and fast rule, but usually the base, normally people would not really take a look. So it's not always nice to have a joint at the base, or rather bottom. Okay, we will sew with a 1/4 inch. Very close, so I need to adjust a little bit. This is how I go along usually, because the layers build up. Okay, and you unzip your zipper, tuck in the cover clip, and I like to use my flat screwdriver to press it down. This and my thermostat has been on in my sewing machine for the last 5 years. I think since, yeah, shortly since I started sewing. This is just good because I'm going to change my needle. So I will use this flat screwdriver to change, and it worked better. In the past, I used my awl, and my awl poked through right into the fabric. So that was an expensive lesson. Okay, slow down, press, tuck in. Okay, press. Go. Check your progress as you go along. Okay, I know I'm very close here, so I'm trying to end over here. Because the layers at the bottom is thicker. And I'm going to fold a 3/8, more than that actually, but just to a minimum of 3/8 to hide the raw edges. So pretty! I'm really partial to this nail orange and nail green actually. Yeah, but I can see a little small stitches here. It's alright, I can live with that. Okay, but you check. Okay, we're going to zip it up. Tuck this in first. It's looking good. Okay, remember I was saying about the zipper here that we need to make sure we can see the center mark. And now it's time for you to cut into the center mark, which is here. Okay, let's do it. One snip. Okay. And with this, naturally your zipper pull will be on one side here and one side here. Otherwise, you can't unzip. Okay. So right now we are going to cinch the ends a little bit. We're going to fold the zipper 90 degrees and we'll base the side. Do this for both ends. I also like to use the lighter to cinch the ends. This is how it will look. So this cover clip is to cover the gap. For appearance wise, it look prettier. But like I mentioned, you can actually insert this hook and hole so that it doesn't, see, there's no way I can open it up. And this is to cover it. Okay, we'll put this aside first while we focus on the other side gusset with the shoe compartment. And right now we are on step 15, that is the shoe compartment for the side gusset. On the wrong side of piece C4, mark a 3/8 inch along the short edge. One short edge will do. And what I like to do is I fold it first, so there's a crease mark. And I will align the other short edge to the 3/8 inch basement and press it flat. Use clip to clip it together. This way, one short edge raw edges will be concealed. Once we have done this, we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch. Okay, what you can do is you can take out the clip, align as you sew. Because I can still see the 3/8 inch mark, so I just line up. Okay, this is what you will see. You still see the raw edges. Now we're going to turn back with the wrong side facing up. Flatten the fabric first. Sorry, the seam. And we are going to top stitch with the wrong side facing up, but we are sewing on the right side. So we're going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch. I believe this technique is very common for apparels, but for bag, so far I have not really seen it, and I thought it is pretty interesting. Easy to sew to hide the edges. Okay, this is how it is. See, there's no raw edges showing at all. Okay, no, wait. Make sure you mark the center point, and I did on the right over here, so I'm just going to put it the marking because there are 2 stitches, so make sure you mark the right one. After marking the center point for the shoe compartment lining, take 1 piece of side gusset zipper pocket lining. This is PC1, and we are going to align the bottom edge of this PC1 with the shoe compartment center point. Baste it with a 1/8 inch, starting and ending the 1/4 inch at the corner. So you will need to mark a 1/4 inch at the corner. That will be your start and stop point. And we are just basting it with a 1/8. Again, remember to stop at the 1/4 inch mark. And once you're done, on the 2/4 inch, we are going to snip a 1/4 inch again on the shoe compartment lining, not the side gusset lining. Okay, this is how we will do. This will help to ease the corners together, and go ahead and clip it together. Okay, and over here, again, we will start and stop at 1/4 inch mark here. So go ahead and mark again. Okay, right now I'm going to sew, baste it with a 1/8 inch. Again, start and stop at the 1/4 inch mark. Adjust as you go, the curves. I hope this color is not as bright on the screen. I thought this complement the leopard print well. Check that you are able to catch everything. It's a little bit, but it's all right. So this is how it looks inside, or the right side, because this is where the shoe go in, and you want the waterproof to be on the inside, so that it's easier for you to clean out any dust or dirt. Okay, next, take out your bias tape. So you can use a fold over elastic, but honestly, I do not know how to sew with fold over elastic. I'm very bad with the smooth texture. My machine doesn't like the smooth type, so I'm sticking to this, and so far I have no issue with this one. There are 2 steps of this binding. First, we are going to sew the straight edge first, then thereafter we are going to tackle the curve. That will make the whole thing easier. Okay, fold into half, and we will sew it. Okay, start and stop at the 1/4 inch. Make sure there is no layers of fabric under. And I will just use my index finger to press it flat to create a crease line. My apology, my mic went dead before I even realized it. Trim off the excess bias tape and use a lighter to cinch it. Next, at the both starting and the ending points of the curved edge, we will use the bias tape to enclose. the raw edges. You'll fold the bias tape in by a 3/8 inch, and we will sew along the curve with a 1/4 inch. Move the lining out of the sewing area as you sew along. Gentle reminder, imperfection in the bias tape are perfectly okay. It can't be really seen from the outside, and nobody will really go and take a look on every stitches. This is a very good practice because the layers are really thin. Just go slow as you go around the curves. As you approach the end of the curve, make sure you fold in at least a 3/8 inch to hide the raw edges. And now we are done with shoe compartment lining. We'll go to the next step. Okay, right now we are on step 30. We'll mark the center point which we did earlier, and we are going to line up the side gusset pocket on the long edge first. This is very similar to what we did earlier. Again, mark here a 1/4 inch. Sorry, no, this side, a 1/4 inch from the zipper tab. And we are going to baste it, start and stop at the 1/4 inch mark. Okay, and we are going to unzip the ZC zipper. And tuck in the exterior inside, take out the zipper, and we are going to place it zipper right side up and the lining also right side up. Remember, this is wrong side up. This is right side up. So we're going to clip it around. Oh, before that, we are going to snip into the 1/4 inch here where we stop. We're going to snip a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch here also. Okay, over here also, we'll start and stop at a 1/4 inch. Likewise for here. Okay, and we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. This is how it will look. This is the back. If it doesn't catch all, it's alright because later we will be binding it. As long as it, you must make sure that it covers at least a quarter. This one it doesn't, so I'm going to do some magic by pulling the fabric a little bit over. Okay, so sew on this side in order to be visible. Okay. And next we'll be doing the upper, or rather the top exterior. We basically repeat earlier what we did. Okay, we are going to do this again, the center point. We need to unzip first. Previously, we don't have this. It's basically the zipper tip to the exterior, to the top gusset exterior. So it's actually the same except that we have this at the back. So we are going to line up the center point right side together. Center point and towards the end, then we will line it up. That should be the right way for you to line up, either at the end or the center point first. Okay, and we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. Let me see, how do I want to do it? Okay, I'm just going to do this. Again, baste with a 1/8 because later we are going to bind it at a 1/4 inch. Just make sure the zipper pull is out of the way. Use your finger to make sure there is no unnecessary fabric caught in between. Okay, I can feel the zipper here. It's in the zipper coil up, so you just have to make sure it's flat. Okay, I'm going to wind the bobby. Thankfully, it's just right at the end. We're almost done. Okay, let's zip it up. Your shoe compartment is just in here. You'll just unzip it, and this is your shoe compartment. And we are going to bind it. Repeat the same process.
Can I say hi?
Charlotte is here, but nobody can. This is pre-recorded.
That's pre-recorded.
That means it's not live.
No.
Yeah, it'll be uploaded.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, close the door. Bye. Okay, same as earlier, we're going to bind it. You need not really double fold on the binding at the start, because later we will sew the zipper gusset. Okay, again, use a finger to feel if there's any lump, and any bump for fabric. See, we covered the earlier 1/4 inch, and here you will be covered, so there is no worries about being exposed. Okay. This is how it looks inside now. Okay. I'm thinking about this could be a good pet carrier, but there are some modification need to be done. Okay. Next will be the last 2 steps. One is attaching the zipper gusset and bind it. Again, we'll repeat the same process. We are going to align the center point. One thing, if you are new to zipper gusset like this, what you can do is you can break down into parts, meaning you will sew the straight edges first, then followed by the curve. For some people, they like to stapler it, but because this one is rather, most of it is a zipper, so I don't really recommend staple into the zipper tape. If it's all fabric, then it's fine. Okay, I'm going to swap because I want my hook to be on the right side. Since I'm a right hander, so I'm going to swap that. After this, we are going to take a break. This side gusset, like I mentioned, it has many steps. Compared to the buffing version, that is simpler because it's just the outer and a zipper pocket. It doesn't have shoe compartment. It doesn't have extra, yeah, doesn't have a shoe compartment. You don't see this exterior. It's just a normal zipper pocket. Otherwise, the dimension is the same. No, sorry, dimension there is a slight difference also because binding versus birthing. Binding tend to be wide, bigger, a 1/4 inch thereabout, not much of the teeth. But the sewing method construction is different. So if you are an adventure beginner, I would strongly suggest you try out the birthing method first. Again, flatten the seam, the SA over to the curve, which is away from the ZA zipper. Okay, we are done now, and we are going to base it with a 1/8 inch. And we are done with the zipper. Let's zip it up and take a look. It's looking good. See, I did not snip any part of the zipper. So we just snip this away. Okay. Okay, make sure you are happy with it. Check if there's any puckles. I shouldn't have based it so much around the corner. So when you base it, you just got to be careful because it was the curve here. I'm going to just take it out because I have a feeling that it might show. It might not be able to be seen after the bias date, but I'm just trying to take it out just in case. I know this one will be covered, I think. Let's check. Okay, I think we are cool. Okay, this side is okay. There is no puckles also. All right. And we are going to proceed to bind the whole parameter. Sorry. Let's see whether I do this one right. It looks good. Okay, last binding for the side gusset. Same thing, I'm going to the same way of binding. Just make sure your shoe compartment is out of the way as you sew around the area. If you notice, I have more bias here than over here. It is good because this is what I wanted to. Because here is where the zipper is. I don't want too much over on the zipper, along the zipper tape. Otherwise, when you pull the zipper head, it will get caught in between. So if you do have a wider zipper tape, I think this one is a 7/8 inch. But if you do have a 1 inch, then that will be even, yeah, this is 7/8. That will be tricky. So you just want to have a little bit over here. Surprisingly, if you zip it up, it's quite easy to sew around the curve. Not sure did I try it before. See, every day we are learning new techniques. Sometimes also, if you have a different sewing machine, you learn something different, including the material. That's why I love sewing. I hope it makes sense. Okay, again, for a 1/8, minimum 1/8. You want to fold more, by all means. That's what I did. I think mine is probably 1/2 inch. Oh, let's see the final results. It looks so good. Okay, for all zipper, binding zipper especially, you tend to need to bend a little bit, flex the bias at the corner here in order for them to work smoothly. This is the inside. You will see this from the inside. Of course, you can't access from the inside for the shoe compartment. Then that is over here. Okay, and we are going to do the last step for this side gusset before we put it away. Or rather, we will do the final assembly. So find the center point. Oh no, over here. Okay, and we are going to cut it. We're going to fold the zipper 90 degrees and we'll base the side. Do this for both ends. I also like Okay, we are done with this. Let's take a short break and we'll come back and do the exterior assembly only. And thereafter, we'll proceed to the interior. Interior is pretty straightforward but long. So meaning when you come back, please clear your table. You need a space for the exterior and for the interior, and as well as the final assembly. I'll see you in a short while. Hi, welcome back after your good break. Right now we are on step 34 to assemble the side gusset to the main body. I suggest to align the side gusset without the shoe compartment first because the bag can get very heavy as mentioned. And hope you have cleared your sewing table. And if your sewing area is small, please get a portable maybe table or a chair whereby it's on the same height as your sewing table, so to support the weight of the bag. Okay, right now you will unzip the ZD zipper for the side gusset and we are going to place it right side together. It doesn't matter which part that you are going to face because it's the same. So we are going to match up the midpoint first. Prepare plenty of clips. Okay, my both side fits well, which should be, that will be half an inch from the top, from the start and the end. Right now we will baste it along the zipper with a 1/8 inch. I suggest to fold it up first, okay, and we will sew from here. Okay, so I already sew one side, so I'm going to zip it up one side for you to take a look. It should be very easy to zip it up. And this is how it will look. And later part, after installing the interior lining, then we will clip it. So this is how it will look. It's coming along very nicely. I need to remove this marking. Next, we will do the other side gusset and we are done with the exterior. So we repeat the same thing, but the weight will be heavier because all the exterior fabric, the side gusset is already installed. Same thing, right side together, and we are going to clip along the long edges. First, match the center point first. Okay. Same thing, we are going to fold it and baste with a 1/8 inch. Okay, we are done with our exterior. Let's go over to the overhead view. Okay, let's zip up the bag. Okay, and we are going to zip up the whole thing. Zipping up is very easy. You just have to make sure your zipper head is right at the cap there. And just slide it in by your jacket. And that's it. Oops. It's looking so good now. Okay, we'll put this aside and we will focus on the interior lining. We are on step 34 now. Take out your Velcro tape and cut into half. We are going to place the DST on 4 sides or on the wrong side. Okay, and I already measure, which is 3 1/4 from the short edge inwards, and from the bottom edge, that would be 1 1/8 inch, which is 2.8 cm up, 8.2 away from the short edge. Or you can use your pattern piece E1 to mark the placement. On both sides, you see the dot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the Velcro tape. Take the one with the hook, which is the scratchy side. Then we put the fussy away first, but we are going to place it on the lining soon. So from here, I remove the DST and I'm going to just place it here inwards. Likewise for here. And we are going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch around the parameter. But before we do so, let's take out the piece F. This is the suit compartment lining. We are going to place the other side of the Velcro tape in it. Again, you can use a pattern piece F to mark the placement, or you can measure, same thing, 1 1/8 from the short edge and 3 1/4 inch inwards. But do bear in mind, the 3 1/4 inch must be nearer to the zipper. So in order to avoid any confusion, arrange your zipper to be in between the lining first before we secure the Velcro tape. And this should be right side up. Likewise, for just now earlier, it should be right side up also. So we are going to place it here. 3 1/4 inch from the inside, and the top edge 1 1/8 inch. And we do the opposite side. Okay, the measurement is true for a 3/4 inch Velcro. So if you use a thicker Velcro, chances is you will see some of the Velcro tape. We put the zipper away first. So we are going to secure the Velcro tape. We will use standard stitch, which is 2.5 cm. No, sorry, 2.5 millimeter stitch length. Okay, and we are going to top stitch the parameter. Baste with a standard stitch around the parameter. So we will continue on this. For you to identify easily, maybe you can mark across here so that we know that will be the zipper. Likewise, I'm going to do here. Okay, your piece F suit with the Velcro tape is done. We'll put this aside first. Now we are back to step 31. Take the zipper tape and cut into 4 pieces. This is ZTE. Okay, ensure the length is what is indicated in the pattern. And again, also depend whether are you a right hander or left hander. So I'm going to just place here from left to right. And we are going to place it right side down to the zipper tape, and the other side is also right side down. It depends on your, though there is no lining at the back, but I prefer to have a zipper tab at the back also. Because if we do not have, let me demonstrate to you. What happened to me is when I bought a bag from a shop, they do not have a zipper tab at the back. And we will do this. And this tend to scratch my item. Eventually it came loose. That's what I saw for those store-bought bags. So it's really up to you. If you do not want, you can do it, but just bear in mind that there will be a tendency of the zipper tape stretching your item or coming out. Okay, we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Once done, we will turn the zipper tab right side up and we will top stitch the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, if you have excess zipper tab, you can trim it away or you can just leave it as it is. Okay, you see what I mean? If we do not have, there will be a chance that, the edge of the zipper T is poking out. Okay, we put this aside while we take the remaining piece E1. This is the flat cover, and we need to cut a 2-inch from the top. If you have a pin placement, this is something that you need to take note. I already draw the 2-inch from the top, and we're going to trim it away. This is what you will have. It was mentioned in the pattern instruction to avoid using fabric that you need to interface, because basically this is the wrong side of the fabric, which will be the inside of the fabric. Okay, we are only using 2 pieces of fabric. And if your fabric tend to fray at the edges, especially on the zipper side, what you can do is you do a zigzag stitches first. That will help to prevent the fraying. And now we are going to line this up right side together with the ZE zipper that we did earlier. I think I cut my zipper take a little bit longer, but it's all right. We are going to sew with a 1/4 inch, snip the SA corners, turn it right side out, and we are going to top stitch along the long edge with a 1/8 inch. So remember, 1/4 inch. And forgot to mention, if you are right hander, you like to open from the left to right, make sure your zipper pull close to the left. And we are going to trim the side first, turn it out, flatten the seam. Okay, and we are going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Okay, this is the back. And we are going to repeat the same thing for the upper portion, right side together, and sew with a 1/4 inch. Again, snip the corners, okay, flatten the seam, and we will top stitch the top with a 1/8 inch. Snip off the excess zipper tab and take out the remaining piece E1 with your Velcro, and we are going to place it right side together. Okay, this method will be using a French seam method where we will sew it right side together. We'll turn it around. When we sew right side together, we are using a 1/8 inch. Then we'll turn it around, top stitch with a 1/4 inch, so that we do not need to use any binding, bias tape, and also at the same time reduce the material that we need to use. But prior to that, make sure you unzip your zipper so that you can turn the fabric right side out from the zipper. Okay, we are going to sew. When you sew this with a 1/8 inch, make sure you use your standard stitch length. You do not want to base this with the highest stitch length, because thereafter it will be seen, it will come out actually when you turn the fabric right side out and top stitch. Okay, you can snip off a little bit on the corners, and we are going to turn the fabric right side out. Okay, I'm going to turn, smooth out the corners. Because you need to poke out the corners. So if you use a bigger stitch length, it's going to open up, and you don't want that to happen. And we will flatten the seam. You may need to roll it first. You can always flatten before you turn it right side out. Depending on your fabric, maybe I should have done that, because this is kind of slippery, so it's a bit harder to get the edge. Make sure you have enough bobbin thread, and we will need to do 2 different seam allowance. For the 2 short edge and the bottom edge, we are going to sew top stitch with a 1/4 inch. And the top here, we are going to only top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Because later part, when we attach this to the main lining, we are going to top stitch again. 1/8 followed by a 1/4 inch. As you can see earlier, my Velcro tape was positioned on the top edge instead of the bottom edge. So I'm going to unstitch and redo the whole thing. Basically, after you top stitch the whole perimeter, your flat cover is now done. Okay, take your ZF zipper, and same as what we did for other zipper tape, we are going to do a 90-degree. Okay, we'll fold to ensure the side here there is no excess zipper tape. And we'll repeat the same for this side. Okay, make sure you're happy with how it looks. Be more balanced. Okay, now we are done on this side. And take out these 2-piece F lining, which is a suit compartment lining. Earlier, we have already marked where the zipper should go. And we are going to mark a 3/8 inch from the top edge on both sides. Okay, a 3/8 inch, so that we will start our zipper from here. As mentioned, to avoid confusion, it is always good we start here. I'm going to just do that before separating the zipper. Clip it. Okay, then I'm going to separate the zipper. The zipper pull, you can put it aside first. This lining is long, but it is light, so it's still manageable. You can still let the fabric fall down to your sewing machine, or rather the table. and this will be here. Okay, so we are going to sew one side first. Change your zipper foot, and we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. Take out your F1 lining without the Velcro side, and we're going to place it right side together with the zipper sandwich in between. I accidentally snip it off, which happened to my face. So just got to be careful. We're going to sew along the zipper, long edge and the short top edge with a 1/4 inch. And I'm going to snip off a little bit the corner here as well as here. And we will turn the fabric right side out, flatten the seam and top stitch the whole perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, and now we will go ahead and top stitch the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. And I like to pull two fabric together so that it aligns better. Okay, and we will baste the whole thing, and for this I'm going to use the longer stitch length. Okay, we have done one side, which is the suit compartment lining. This is the back and this is the front. So proceed to do the remaining piece F and F1. Same thing happened as the binding. I didn't pivot and I got a skip stitch. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I already did whatever necessary. I changed my Velcro to the right direction. Just remember it must be at the bottom edge and not the top edge, which was my mistake. Okay, one thing about lining up the zipper pull, what works for me is if I can't get it in, okay, like this, if for any reason why I can't get it in, I will actually cut a notch here, okay, and I find it's easier for me to line up. Everyone has a different habit. This helped me a lot when I first started, and it's still helping me. The fabric is a bit long, so it's hard to maneuver. Okay. Once you line up your two pieces of suit compartment lining, okay, this is the back. You can double check your Velcro tape. It should match perfectly. Okay, this is how it would look. But for now, we are not going to use this. We're going to take your piece F1, which is the suit compartment base. Okay, we are going to line up here right side together, and we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Okay, we'll snip off the SA corners, and we will flatten this and go over to the overhead view. And we will need to take out your piece E lining. As you can tell, this is the wrong side. This is the right side up. So make sure you mark, I have not, make sure you mark your lining already, the midpoint. This is sophisticated too, just for your information. I'm not sure whether did I mention it. With the piece E line, main lining facing right side up, we are going to place our piece F, which is the suit compartment, right side up also. And we are going to just line up everything together, secure with clip. We are almost done with your lining. Once you do this, left with the flat cover, and we are ready for the final assembly. At this stage, you should already clear your table. Together with the exterior, the back is going to be really heavy. We are going to base the short edge at the base with a 1/8 inch, then followed by the top stitching around here. Okay, so that we can secure the base lining. And once done, we are going to base the 2 long edge to secure the suit compartment lining. Alternatively, you can base the 2 long edge and the bottom edge first before top stitching the base lining. Sorry, my phone was off earlier when I was pasting these two, and I didn't realize it until I finish it. But it's just a recap. I based these two. One trick is to sew, to pull the fabric as you sew. That means, I wouldn't say pull, probably when you sew the time, meaning this way, and you use your hand to actually pull the fabric along on both sides, meaning your both hand must be working. You just pull it along so that to make sure that it is aligned well, and to ensure that the fabric doesn't shrink, because it's useful for such a long piece of fabric. Now, measure both sides here are equal. There is a measurement. This should be about 5 3/4 inch. If you are slightly off, it is all right. Okay, just make sure that it is equal. Mine is 5 3/4 inch, but you notice my here is slightly taller, but it's fine. Okay, so over here, then we will take your flat cover and we will match it up. You see, it's not able to see. So please do not over concern unless it is very obvious that it is lopsided. Otherwise, it is all right. Okay, take your flat cover, mark the center point, and from the center point, you will mark another 1 inch. In total, the gap here should be 2 inches. And we are going to line up the Velcro tape, okay, to the bottom. And here should be about 2 inches away as well. Okay, I already marked 2 inches here. It might not be that visible on the camera, but it is to me, so it is all right. Okay, and I'm going to secure it with a painter's tape so that to ensure that I get a right straight line. I'm just going to secure at the side. Make sure your center point is towards center point, and both sides here should be equal. We're going to top stitch along the long edge stop at the 2-inch mark that we did earlier, which is 1 inch away from the midpoint. And we're going to do some tack stitch to reinforce the area. And we are going to continue with a 1/4 inch. Likewise, we are going to do the same over here. Here, there should be a gap of 2 inches. Let's go over to the sewing machine now. Okay, you stop at the 1 inch from the center point. And we are going to do some tack stitching. I like to go up and down again. And you should have about a 1/4 inch. Then we are going to, okay, make sure you flatten it, and we are going to sew to here. Mine won't be so nice because of my first stop stitching. Take a good break, clear your table because we really need your space. Get a table, extended table or stool to hold the bag because we're going to combine this lining together with the exterior. I'll see you in a short while. Welcome back. Right now we are into our final assembly. You will just need two, which is the remaining lining and the body. There is no right or wrong way you should place your flat cover facing. Personally, I like it to be at the back panel. So when I open the zipper from the front panel, I can see this flat cover for easy access. We're going to do two parts here. We are going to sew the short edges. Once it's done, we are going to turn out the fabric and bind the long edges. So basically line up the short edges first, and we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch. Already done on the other side, so I'm going to do this side also. I'm going to sew with the lining facing up. Okay, and I'm going to fold it. If you do not have an extended table, it is advisable to put maybe a stool or something for you to support your back because you definitely need it. Sorry, earlier my mic doesn't have any battery and I didn't realize it, but it's only the sewing part. Okay, I was saying to adjust the back as you go and make sure the front and your side there is support because the back is heavy now. Okay, I'm not going to trim the corners because we are going to do the binding. So, and it's not much of a difference. Okay, we are going to turn the back right side out. It's a big bag now. Hello, my baby. She is back.
Hello.
She said hello. Okay.
I saw.
Okay, you turn the back right side out. My daughter just came back and she said hello. The bag is huge now. Okay, what I do is I will turn the bag with the exterior facing up. So we are going to clip along the long edges first. Then once we're done, we are going to top stitch the two short edges with a 1/8 inch and baste the two sides with a 1/8 inch also. Okay, now I have already clipped the long edges. Make sure all are aligned, which should be. And we are going to top stitch the zipper, ZA zipper on both short edges with a 1/8 inch. When we top stitch, be mindful of this ZD zipper, okay, the side gusset zipper, and make sure you do not accidentally top stitch it. You need not start to top stitch it from the beginning if you're having issue to shift the zipper gusset zipper. Okay, be mindful because my light is in front and then the back is hitting the light already. Okay. See, I didn't start from the beginning. It's alright because later we will cover by the bias tape. Now, double check. The stitches are all good. Looking very well. Then we will continue to top stitch on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to baste the long edges together with a 1/8 inch. Okay, now we are done on this side and over on this side. This will be easiest because all the clips are gone except for here. Yeah, we are done. Left the binding now. Shall we zip it up before we bind? It's always good to check first before we do the final stitches. Let's go over to the overhead view. Well done, everyone. We have almost done. Okay, left the binding, but let's zip up the back and see how it goes. If you enjoyed the tutorial so far, don't forget to click like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, put in the comment also. And also for this pattern, there is another 2-person doing, my amazing moderator from the Sewfisticated Facebook group, Samantha and Jen. You can take a look on theirs also. Everyone have different way of sewing, so it's always good to reference. Okay, this part. It is very easy to zip it up, but because of the space constraint, it might look a bit tough now. Okay. Oh yeah, we still have one more thing after the binding, which is the cover clip. But if you're not doing the cover clip cam snap or metal snap button, you can leave it. Okay, let's see. Then we just snap it. There you go. And this one will cover as what it is. If you do not want to use the clip cover, I recommend using a hook and the hole anti-tap concept. See, there's no one end. Of course, this you can clip together. Okay, without further ado, let's go through the last step. Okay, turn your fabric with the exterior facing up. It depends on your habits. If you are more comfortable clipping with the bias stick, go ahead. But I'm just going to clip it as I go. Since the back is rather long, so I'm going to just clip the first part to make it more manageable. Then thereafter, I'm just going to fold and sew. Okay. And make sure you have enough bobbin thread. I cannot emphasize enough because, yes, otherwise you have to take a break and to retread again. Okay, so for this, since the bias ending will be visible from outside, do a 3/8 or slightly half an inch more, and we are going to fold it at the top and at the end. Okay, this is how it goes. And we will sew with a 1/4 inch. As mentioned, I'm going to clip a few. I think it should be all right because the back, I can't remember how it was done during the prototype. I sewed 2, 3, yeah. Okay, let's get started. Go slow, really slow. Sorry, just a little bit. Okay, from here, cut at least a 3/8. I normally cut more. I mean, there's no right or wrong. End of the day, we just want to cover the raw edges. Okay, and use the thermostat to hold it in place. And we are done on the first part. Okay, it's all right. Okay, double check. So far, it looks good. And we'll continue on the other side. Final round before we do the cam snap. This binding is very straightforward. It's just straight on. The only thing is the weight of the bag. That's all. Even for birthing, you will need to top stitch it. Okay. I'm just going to clip for the first 2 inches thereabout. Support the bag a little to get the first stitch on. Congratulations, you are basically done. Especially if you're not doing the cover clip, your bag is completed. Let's zip up the bag. Please do tag me on the Instagram or Facebook, and remember to post all the completed bag in our Facebook group, because there is this bi-monthly share your challenge giveaway, and this bag will entitle 5 times chance to win gift cards. And if you have not clicked like or subscribe, please do so. I'm trying my best to create more YouTube, or rather video tutorial for my pattern. And if I really do hope to find the time to do tips and tricks. So in the meantime, please help. Okay, let's zip up the bag. It would be better if you got a bigger space for you to zip and unzip the bag. But because right now the camera is just in front of me, I might look clumsy, but it's not as tough as it looked. Okay, this is basically the inside of the bag. This is what I meant by the front panel. and you're going to unzip the pocket here. Okay, and if you have a hanger, the hanger will be coming out from this side, and that is your shoe compartment. Okay, if you do not have anything, it doesn't occupy much space too. And the side pocket, mesh pocket at the side, as well as here. Okay, let's zip up the back and take a look. This is the exciting part, isn't it? To see the completed bag. From the time, the hours that you spend in creating this. Okay, for this, we don't have a zipper tab here, so we just lock it. As mentioned, it's a simple anti-tab. Likewise for here, that will be 3-part. Okay, because my fabric choose for this is a bonded fabric. There is no stabilizer at all, and duffel bag meant to be squishy. Once you are happy with the bag, then we are going to do the hem snap button for the front and back panel. If you're looking for a comfortable strap to go with this instead of the webbing, Sewfisticated sling strap will be for you. It is a padded adjustable strap, and it is a very quick make. The idea came from Jen, the moderator. Though I've seen it before, but it didn't really strike to me until she brought it up. So thank you, Jen. Okay, so we are going to make it flat, or you can flatten the whole thing by removing the side gusset. And we are going to measure from the binding. Yeah, this side is easier. From the binding, the exterior of the binding to inwards is 7/8 inch. And for the fabric here, okay, above the top stitch, you're going to measure 3/4 inch down. Okay, let's take a look. 3/4 inch and a 7/8. The distance between here, it should be 2 inches. Likewise for this is 2 inches. So we are going to punch hole. Use a ladder punch. Make sure it's the smallest hole that is over here. And move your zipper aside. Make sure there is nothing inside, and we are going to just punch. Okay, and likewise for here. Now I'm going to repeat on the other side. Okay, next we are going to put the cap in. The cap will be inside the lining, and the female snap is on the outer. I'm going to off screen for the table press. I'll be back. And voila! Your duffel bag is now completed. I already did a hem snap off screen. And take a look here. It does take some adjustment for you to clip it, okay, because there's nothing else to pull on it. And with the anti-tab system, so-called the pull. And over on this side, like this hook and hold. I put a cushion in because it's really soft now. Only the side here is standing up. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please do not forget to tag me for any of your make. Post your makes to the Sewfisticated Facebook group. Participate in our bi-monthly Share Your Make challenge. Like and subscribe. Comment if you have any question. Thank you so much. I'll see you the next time. Bye.